BetterHelp therapists have helped more than 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. Moments in therapy, like the right question or a safe space to cry or a small win, can really change lives. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who have helped millions of people take that step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/timeout. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/timeout.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen. Tune into the Rich Eisen Show weekdays from 12 to 2, right here on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The game is over.
Who fakes the handoff to Jacobs and now throws, and it's taken in for a touchdown by Kraft.
And it's the day after.
I can't say enough about our guys. From the moment we got on the trip, nothing seemed to go right. To in-game, there was a lot of things that didn't go right, but the guys kept battling, and that's what it takes in this league.
Let's react to the game and look ahead. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios. Here's Greg Matzek and Gary Ellerson.
Oh, welcome back in. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Greg Matzek and Gary Ellerson with you from Potawatomi Sportsbook. Monday Night Football about to get underway here. Another Monday night doubleheader. First game you're likely a little more interested in if you're a Packers fan of the Lions taking on the Buccaneers. A couple of good teams here in the NFC. And yes, technically speaking, Gary, the Packers right now are a first-place team in the NFC North with a record of 4-1-1 following a come-from-behind victory over the Cardinals on Sunday early evening. Had it every step of the way, really. Everybody's all worried about that. Had it every step of the way. All you Packers fans have heard it, right? You get off to a fast start, you fall apart in the fourth. Well, just to show that they can be versatile, the Packers started off kind of a mess and ended up coming back and winning that game with a late touchdown in the fourth quarter, ultimately holding off the Cardinals for a 27-23 win. See, versatility, that's important. You got to win in different ways in the NFL.
Well, you do. I don't disagree with that. I just feel like the problem, I guess, that we have with the Packers is a consistency around their offense. And I think what has happened, because we saw the first game against Detroit, they played, all three phases played out of their mind. Then they go beat Washington, right? That's another playoff team from last year. And it just looked so good. And after that, it feels like the bottom has fell out to a certain degree because they haven't played that well. And I think you have to give the Packers credit for going on the road, on the West Coast, winning a game. Plane is 5 hours late, so they're doing walkthroughs on the tarmac at Austin Straubel in Green Bay. So that upsets the apple cart a little bit, and it's a time change out on the West Coast. That's always very difficult in itself. But it still feels like this offense is just not all the way there. It's not fluid. It feels kind of herky-jerky. It feels like they don't really know what they're doing. And I think maybe the undoing to all of that is probably the ground game with Josh Jacobs, because they really don't have that going on a consistent basis to really try to figure out what their offense is all about.
That has led to quite an uproar on social media. If you're watching the game yesterday and then also paying attention to social media, it would appear that the social media experts believe Matt LaFleur had himself a rotten day at the office on Sunday. He's taken all sorts of heat and did so during yesterday's game. Is it justified? The center of the conversation is around third down conversion rate, 3 for 10, right? A little toss pitch on 3rd and 1 that goes for negative yards. On a fourth down play, you kind of go downfield for 15 and it doesn't work out. Later in the game, however, on a 4th and 2, Packers dial up a play that ends up in the hands of Tucker Kraft. And it was Matt LaFleur trusting his quarterback to make that play in a very critical situation in the contest. Also, opting to make something out of what appeared to be nothing at the end of the half with 7 seconds left, 22-yard pass to Romeo Doubs, setting up a 61-yard field goal. So if you're going to point out the bad, you must also point out the good, where a decision that was made worked, and the Packers executed. So there's probably a little bit of both, but I thought it was unnecessary heat at Matt LaFleur yesterday, and it was prisoner of the moment kind of stuff. He didn't bat 1,000, but he also had some hits.
Well, they're always going to be unnecessary heat on Matt LaFleur because most people think that Matt LaFleur didn't win any of these games. It was all Aaron Rodgers. That's why he won games. And even if you go to Jordan Love, most people think that Jordan Love is not a good quarterback because Aaron Rodgers was better than him. We'll get into all that later, I'm sure, in the show. But that's the case. So no one really believes in Jordan Love, Packer fans, and no one really believes in Matt LaFleur because of a certain person that was here. So they always got to constantly prove themselves. I think the true test of a winner, Greg, is when it's not quite going your way and you were able to persevere and still come out and get a win. Say what you want to say about the Green Bay Packers. 4-1-1, first place in the North Division, and they're not playing their best football. And that's a matter of fact. So if you look around the NFL right now, just specifically in the NFC, who really is? We talk about Philly. I mean, they're not playing great football. And then we're watching two teams tonight, the Lions and the Buccaneers. I mean, they'll both have something to say about it. But I don't feel like there's a team that I fear right now in the NFC.
Prior to yesterday's game, the Packers were the only team in the NFL to have held a 10-point advantage in every contest so far this season. But we saw teams come back on the Packers, and it kind of opened our eyes to like, well, wait a minute now. Are they just in a big lead and they kind of take your foot off the gas and these teams come back and all of a sudden the game is a little more interesting than you want it to be? Kind of what happened against the Bengals, to be sure. The Dallas game is almost like an outlier. It's hard to even discuss that game because it really doesn't look like anything else the Packers have done so far this season. So in the case of yesterday's game, the Packers did not hold a 10-point advantage. In fact, they did not hold any advantage until about 2 minutes left in the contest, and they were able to hold off the Cardinals thanks in part to Micah Parsons. A team that had been getting off to fast starts did not on the road against Arizona. A team that had been giving up a significant amount of points in the fourth quarter, more than anybody in the league, held the Cardinals to 3 points in the fourth quarter. It was just kind of a reversal of what we've seen so far this season. A game that ends up being close, that results in a win, but instead of fast start, fade down the stretch, it was awful start, gain steam down the stretch. But either way, you're looking at a road win here now in the NFL against a team that's been in every game they've played this season and just sort of found a way to come up short, the Arizona Cardinals.
Right. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. I think they had lost 4 games in a row by a total of 9 points. So they play good football, the Cardinals do. They just can't close a game out. And they've been in the lead a couple of these games that they were winning, coming down to the fourth quarter and lost all these leads. So it's a team that's very competitive. They just haven't quite found themselves yet. Of course, Kyler Murray was out. But Jacoby Brissett came in and played some really good football for him. I just think a lot of criticism that the Packers are taking on right now is because of what we saw the first 2 games of the season. And I tell you this, Greg, I don't think it really gets any better for the offense. We're just going to talk about the offense. Because I think when Christian Watson comes back, that's going to upset the apple cart even more. Because you've got to figure out how to get him worked into the offense, along with Matthew Golden, because I think his role is expanding, along with Tucker Kraft, is he's the one, is easy too, along with Romeo Doubs, he's probably now your most dependable receiver that you have. And because they've been able to get a run game, you've got Josh Jacobs catching passes out of the backfield to extend some drives. So they've got a lot going on when Christian Watson comes back to try to get this offense really all together.
That 21-day window for Watson to return remains open. We'll check in with Jason Wilde on what he believes to be the path here for Christian Watson. Will he return at all this year? The window is open, but it doesn't mean he necessarily will be activated, though this would appear to be the week to do it, right, if you're looking at things. Watson practicing on a limited capacity last week. Practice week begins this week, of course, on Wednesday. Pretty amazing components to yesterday's game when you boil down how the first half ended and how the game ended. So I want to go back to the end of the first half because at this point in the game, nothing was going right for the Packers, right? They're not showing signs of being able to move the ball consistently. They had a failed 4th down conversion earlier in the game. They were able to get 3 points up on the board. Meanwhile, Jacoby Brissett was leading the Arizona Cardinals down the field, picking on Nate Hobbs left and right. More on that throughout the course of the program. But I still give Matt LaFleur credit for not kneeling on it, not just saying, you know what, let's regroup, let's go into the half, we'll get things sorted out, come back the second half and play our brand of football. With 7 seconds left, they had some yards to pick up to even think about attempting a field goal, and they did it. 22-yard pitch and catch from Jordan Love to Romeo Doubs under soft coverage, And it sets up this highlight, a highlight unlike anything we have ever heard as those who cover or are fans of the Green Bay Packers.
Lucas Haversick from 61, and the kick is good. A new Green Bay Packers franchise record, a 61-yard field goal by Haversick.
Incredible.
Yeah.
In 106 years of this franchise, nobody has ever done what Lucas Haversick did on Sunday. A guy who's been in Green Bay for less than a week and a half, who was going to be a substitute teacher. Like, this story is just an incredible story in the NFL, much less the Packers. But the fact that Matt LaFleur said, no, we got to get something. We got to do something out of this, right? Something. And they get 22 yards so they can set up a field goal. I give Matt LaFleur credit for that decision, not just to kneel on it and say, well, hey, just try a Hail Mary, chuck one up and see what happens. No, they had an idea. Let's get 20 yards here. If we can do something, let's get a field goal. That worked, and that was a critical decision in the course of yesterday's game.
Matt LaFleur has been making a lot of critical decisions, whether they work out or not. And you got to give it to him. A lot of people will say that the Packers don't have an identity. Well, they do have an identity. The identity is with Matt LaFleur. He's going to go for it. And a lot of people don't see it that way. Now, he's not like the Detroit Lions going for it, but I think there's something in him where it's instinctual. It's a feeling for him whether he's going to go for it or not. And it's bit him in the butt a couple times this season where we thought he should have punted the ball, right? Cleveland should have punted the ball and did it. And then you look at your quarterback and he screws it up for you. And so, but that's who he is, I think, right now. And so for the Packers, you got to take the good with the bad. Now, the particular play you're talking about, it worked. Let's get in the middle of the field. Throw it down the middle of the field, let's get a timeout, let's get the field goal kicker out there. And it worked. To me, that was the turning point of the game. Much like the turning point of the game when they played Cleveland, when it was a block extra point.
Well, now you're getting a jolt of energy going into the locker room, right? Nobody in Packers history has ever kicked a 61-yard field goal. Yeah. So you get points on it and you get the ball back in your hands. So that was an absolute critical component of yesterday's win. And as you, I think, astutely put it, Gary, a turning point in the game. Because it sets up the Packers' ability to take a lead later in the game. Now, third quarter was kind of clunky here, right? The Packers really gained steam in the fourth quarter. Well, it was, right? And I'm praising Matt LaFleur for that decision at the end of the half because I think it was many coaches would have knelt on it, right? And go in, get the ball back. Let's just not try and screw up any more than we already have.
Right.
And Matt LaFleur had his share of poor play calls.
He has.
Right? No doubt.
That didn't work out.
In short yardage situations, especially.
Yes.
By his own admission, he called himself out for that.
Yeah.
You get shut out in the first quarter, right, people are going to wonder. Darn near shut out for the entire half if it weren't for a couple of field goals. The second key decision in the game, and maybe you could say it was the fourth or fifth key decision because there were others, but a key decision that worked out, it worked in the Packers' favor, was opting to go for it on 4th and 2 from the 29-yard line with 2:32 left. Kicker just hit a 61-yard field goal. To me, Matt LaFleur saying, if we're going to win this game, we need to pick up this first down and we need to get into the end zone. I'm not tying this game and putting it back in their hands when we've got 10 penalties for 94 yards against our defense right now and all sorts of issues stopping a journeyman quarterback in Jacoby Brissett with a cornerback who is being paid way too much money for his performance in Nate Hobbs. I don't know if he said that part, but I'm just adding that part. I'm going to add that part about Nate Hobbs.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. I don't know if Matt thought that, but I thought that.
You can.
So he decides to go for it on 4th and 2 from the 29, and here's how it played out.
Jordan Love and the Packers on 4th down. Love throws to the outside. It's caught for a first down by Kraft.
15 yards to Tucker Kraft on a play that they were expecting one thing. They saw another thing. It was good players making a good play. Not the exact look they expected, but they got it done. They figured it out, got it done, got into the end zone, and the rest is history. And we'll get more into Micah Parsons' day, by the way, coming up later in the show. Huge, huge decision that worked for the Packers. Matt LaFleur called it.
That is so monumental, Greg, in the aspect of, a lot of people don't want to hear this, the youngest team in the league, but your quarterback is still growing. This is how you win Super Bowls. This is how you build your quarterback and to have confidence in bringing his team back and have confidence in getting this crucial fourth down, in believing in him. This is how you build a Super Bowl starting quarterback, by doing things like that. It's almost on-the-job training, and the guys in the locker room feels that now we got a guy that can get it done, and the quarterback is the guy feels like, you know what, I've been in position before, I know I can do it. And Matt LaFleur, it was crucial for Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love together to make that decision, and the decision worked. Is unbelievable to me. It means so much to the organization, more than you know. That one play in itself
is a road win for the Packers. They had not yet won on the road prior to yesterday's game. 27-23 comeback win for Green Bay. I want to dive into it with Jason Wilde coming up on the other side. He was in Matt LaFleur's media session today. Also looking ahead here to a Sunday night matchup with Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. What's the messaging inside the locker room this week? Much more after this. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday from Potawatomi Sportsbook.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
And I just remember watching the Dodgers-Brewers series this year, and it just felt like every time we got their starter out, it was Rap City. We were going to pound on.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
We got to make these games long. We got to battle these starting pitchers. We got to make them get their pitch count up and get in that pen. We get in that pen, we're going to be penning our way to a World Series.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hi, I'm Tony Dungy, and I want to take a moment to recognize the incredible work being done by PRISM Economic Development Corporation. Real change happens when people are given the opportunity to step into their God-given purpose. PRISM is doing just that, helping aspiring food entrepreneurs and small business owners turn their dreams into sustainable reality.
Join Tony Dungy and learn more about Prism Economic Development Corporation in Milwaukee at prismedc.org.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
Are we back in 1965? What we've seen so far in the first two games of the National League Championship Series involving the Los Angeles Dodgers up 2-0 against Milwaukee Brewers, a team with the best record in the National League. Two Dodgers pitchers, Blake Snell and Yamamoto, combined for 17 innings of work, allowing one run each game, and Yamamoto a complete game, what he did. What in the name of Sandy Koufax and Don Newcomb is going on with the Los Angeles Dodgers? Now, the Milwaukee Brewers are not just going to go gently into that good postseason, but the Dodgers are built for this. They brought in these guys that are used to postseason success, but not like this. Not the way that starting pitching has dominated the Milwaukee Brewers. They don't want to let their fans down. The Dodgers pitching staff is doing that enough. Game 3 is going to be very interesting for the Brewers to try to find a way out of a 2-hole hole against the Hollywood pitchers in Los Angeles. In 60 seconds, how good or not good are the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
So I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going, only one loss. Okay. Aaron Rodgers starting to play a little bit better. The defense has been slim shady and more shady than slim. The running game is non-existent. Their division is completely garbage. Nobody's playing well outside of Pittsburgh Steelers. But how good are the Steelers in the hierarchy of the AFC? Now, Aaron Rodgers believes he's only going to get better and better and better. And I love that wishful thinking because as you get older, a lot of wishful thinking takes part when you're going well and you want to continue to have that well keep going on for you. But I still don't know we can trust the Pittsburgh Steelers. I trust their coach, Mike Tomlin. He's going to make sure they keep being in that winning mode, and they have no business losing this division with the way the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals have not played. But I still wonder, how good are the Pittsburgh Steelers? At a certain point, we're going to find out, and the Steelers fans may not like what they find out when it's all said and done. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Third and goal. Brissett, Parsons again. Parsons takes down Brissett back at the 25-yard line.
Next up.
Pardon me while I send one of Gary's tweets. What did you want me to do there? You took a picture of us prior to the show beginning.
Where we at?
Where are we?
Yeah.
Oh, we're at Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Put that in there.
Okay, yeah,
What station we on?
All that, I got that all sorted out here.
Yes.
You want to take this start of the segment while I do this for you?
No, we got it. We got it going.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you do it, Greg. Come on, man. You got like 5. You got 5 shows you do, man. Come on, man. This ain't your first.
So multitasking. You think that I can do that?
You got like 5 shows, man. What's the other show you do?
Well, I do Wisconsin's midday news.
See?
From noon to 3 on WTMJ.
See? That's a lot. And then you come over here, and then you do sports. Then you with the Brewers. You do the Brewers and all that stuff, right?
Covering the Brewers, sadly not in the World Series.
How you feel about that? You okay?
Well, it's very disappointing, right?
We didn't talk about that.
You can still say it was. We do this every year.
I wasn't disappointed.
We do this every year with every local sports teams that has a level of expectations. It doesn't matter when you have the expectations, but as soon as you have the expectations.
What expectations did you have?
Well, eventually, at a point with the Milwaukee Brewers, the expectations started to grow. They started to take off.
No, it did for me.
Absolutely, it should have.
No, it didn't.
Team wins 14 in a row, cruising toward an NL Central Division title. All of a sudden, it's like, well, wait a minute now.
No.
This is getting interesting, right? And then they beat the Cubs in 5 games. Like, wait a minute now. Look at this. This team is 1 series win away from going to the World Series. That is the reality after winning 97 games. This happens with the Packers too, right? I think they'll be a 10-6 team or a 10-7 team, maybe 11-6, right? 17 game playoff team, right? And then they get into the postseason and they lose, and it's a failure, right? Everything is either positive or negative. Everything either worked or it didn't. It's success or failure. That's how sports fans look at things. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying how people look at things. Failure. So the Brewers season all of a sudden is a failure.
What about the Badgers?
Well, the Badgers are a failure right now, but they've not gotten off the mat.
They're in the same category, though?
Well, no expectations.
Rose Bowl, and then that's it?
No expectations and no growing expectations.
No growing. Okay.
Right? Expectations for the Green Bay Packers after the first 2 games started to grow. From this kind of a good team to like, well, wait a minute now. This could be a dominant team here in the NFL. And now that they're not, people are grilling Matt LaFleur on a bad 3rd and 1 call.
Yeah,
right?
they are.
That's what happens.
Yeah. Well, there's the Bucks, all of them. Bucks, Brewers, Badgers at one point. You're right about them. Packers. As the season goes along, you kind of know what you got. As the Brewers, everybody go, oh, my God, they swept the Dodgers in regular season. Oh, my goodness, they won it. Come on, cuz, you know the Dodgers weren't playing baseball back then. You knew they had the highest payroll. You knew what was going to happen. You just didn't want to lose against the Cubs.
That is true.
That was the only thing. That's all I was hoping. Not. But
that is also an energizing series that gives you confidence.
It gave me no confidence
win a series
whatsoever.
in the postseason,
you and I should do baseball together. That gave me no confidence whatsoever. I don't know how you bought the banana in the tailpipe on that.
I did not like how the Brewers' pitching was setting up. I will say that.
They don't have pitching.
Postseason. Well, they do. They do.
Who they have?
Just scattered about differently.
Scattered about. I like that word, that phrase.
Scattered about differently.
They were scattered about.
Got it. It's just the same way they did it in 2018.
You got one guy.
In 2018, they had one guy.
One guy.
And then a really good bullpen.
That's it.
That's what they had this year,
too. That's it. That's good. And then you have a hitter that's not necessarily an aging hitter, but probably seen better days. Christian Yelich.
Oh, no doubt. Now, he had a rough postseason. He'd be the first to admit it.
That's okay, though.
Nonetheless, there is a time when a team that you cheer for starts to succeed, and it takes your expectation and ratchets them up.
Well, I think right now, if you start looking long term, I think the Packers are getting to be in that same position, but nobody wants to hear it. what you're going to see right now from the Packers is growing pains. That's why I said to you about the steps with Jordan Love with going forward on fourth down with Matt LaFleur. That is a maturation of a quarterback and an organization and your head coach along the way. He doesn't have enough pelts on the wall yet, Greg, to go get a Super Bowl. But this is how you learn to get it. And that's why, to me, that play was so crucial, and that will be crucial leading into his career, or most certainly into the season, if they can add to that along the way. That's where they are. They're the youngest team again for the third year. They still don't know what they don't know. That's why stuff don't look like it's supposed to look.
So how do you digest a game like yesterday? Put yourself in the Packers locker room, okay, a place that you've been as a player for the Green Bay Packers. You go out, you win a game, right? The flight home should be a fairly happy flight home. And you know, kind of in your heart of hearts, we didn't play our best.
Yeah.
We did not play our best. We got off to a slow start. We were 3 for 10 in converting third downs.
Yeah.
We had penalties all over the place, about 100 yards in penalties, all seemingly coming at the worst of times, right? We allowed chunk plays on third down. It was like 3rd and 19, and the Buccaneers get 24 yards and also get a penalty because it's a free play. It was kind of a clunker until the final, 16, 17 minutes, like half the third quarter and the fourth quarter. Offense started to look like it found a groove, and it required going for it on a fourth down. Defense started to ratchet up the pressure on Jacoby Brissett. All of a sudden, the Cardinals were playing from behind. I don't think there's anybody in that locker room that says, we arrived. We played our best game of football. But they still won.
Right.
They won a road game in the NFL by not playing terribly well.
That's the key. That's the key. Just stack up wins. Now, they know they weren't perfect. They know they didn't play their best football. That's why they got to go back and look at the tape and still continue to try and get better. This is a process. And it's a growing process for this team. And it's going to be long term. And I still think I thought Jordan Morgan, let's just pick him out. I thought he played some good football yesterday. And he had been a guy that had not played well. You had him over at left tackle. He was at left guard. Now he's a right guard. He's at right tackle. Played mostly right guard in this game. I thought played really well. And you're going to start seeing some of these young guys mature and start playing better. You're right, clunker. It was a clunker. But they find out how to win a game when they're not playing their best. To me, that's just incredible when you could do that like that on the road.
I want to ask Wildy more about that coming up on the other side. He was going to join us at 6:15. He was finishing up some TV work, so he'll join us coming up at about 6:30. Josh Jacobs, 13 carries, 55 yards. Didn't know what his status would be going into yesterday's game. They made an elevation of Pierre Strong from the practice squad to the active roster. He thought you might see a little more Emmanuel Wilson, and we did. We saw a little bit of Chris Brooks as well. Jacobs still averaging a little over 4 yards a carry. So we've seen the run game trend a little bit in the right direction. This was not an explosive performance by Josh Jacobs, but it was also very much fewer touches than we've come to appreciate from Josh Jacobs because of his health situation. And hopefully he got through that okay. He was dealing with a calf injury as well. But how do coaches digest a game like this? It's kind of a clunker, found a way to win, gritty, tough. You can use those adjectives. You can also use the words ugly and kind of a mess, right? That fits what I saw yesterday. But your flight home is happy. And to me, coaches probably appreciate that opportunity because you can be tough on your players while also still, in some respects, celebrating a win.
You appreciate that win much more than what you would have had if you had a blowout, because I think you feel like you got something in your locker room. You got perseverance. You got, even though you didn't play your best football, that you went out and won a game on a road against an opponent that's been in every ball game that they played, an opponent that wasn't going to lay down for you. And I think that if you coming in today, that's what you're laying your hat on, in that you went and got a hard-fought game on the road. It's tough to go on the road to get a game in the NFL.
No doubt. Packers did it, and they'll have to do it again here on Sunday Night Football, taking on Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. Much more on that game coming up in hour number 2 of the program. Wildy joins us after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. end the friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
When it comes to joint replacement, you want the best care available. The Orthopedic Surgery Center in Pewaukee is a leader in joint replacement, offering same-day surgery with advanced technology. Their team of experts specializes in knee, hip, and shoulder replacements, using the latest techniques to minimize pain and recovery time. The team at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin can get you back to what matters, living pain-free. Total joint replacement. There is a difference. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's a bird bash at Potawatomi. Thursdays, you could win up to $50,000 cash in the Bird Bash game show. Just play with your rewards card this October for a chance to win. Wouldn't you like to rake in a huge pile of cash? Bird Bash, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info at potawatomi.com/birdbash. Must be 21 years old to play.
Host an unforgettable outing and create special memories with your crew at a Milwaukee Bucks game. Groups of 10 or more can score ticket savings, block seating, and take part in special activities on game days. Showcase your team's talents on center court, score a high five from the pros, and more. There are great options for groups of all sizes. Start planning your ultimate Bucks basketball game day experience today at bucks.com/groups. That's bucks.com/groups.
Shop the Pig! The new Piggly Wiggly Pig Points program is here, and earning rewards just got easier. Now you'll earn 10 Pig Points for every $1 you spend, and redeem those points on your favorite products right in the store. It's simple, it's rewarding, and it's all right here at your neighborhood Piggly Wiggly. So shop more, earn more, and save more, only at Piggly Wiggly. Sign up today at shopthepig.com.
Piggly Wiggly, shop the pig!
Imagine your home totally organized. At Closets by Design, we specialize in providing affordable, custom-built storage solutions with built-ins and beyond, from garages to new home offices. Our experienced designers work within your budget to design a solution fit perfectly to your needs. Get 40% off plus an additional 15% with 18-month financing. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get started. Let's get organized together.
It's ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Nortman here with some exciting news from my friends at Bank 5-9. Not only have they been named a top workplace for 16 straight years, but they've just won the prestigious Community Choice Award as the best bank in the Milwaukee area. Honestly, I'm not surprised. Not only do they have great products and services, but they truly live out their mission to make lives better. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check out the best. Visit bank59.com to learn more today. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
A comeback win for the Packers after a sluggish start. Green Bay responds with a slew of fourth quarter points, including a touchdown with about 2 minutes left in the game to take a lead, forcing the Cardinals to come from behind. In fact, that 4th and 2 conversion came with about 2.5 minutes left. Into the end zone, Cardinals stymied on their final opportunity. They got pretty close. I mean, they got into the area where they could make a legit shot at the end zone. Micah Parsons did his best to thwart that attempt, and the Packers fly home happy. Greg and Gary with you. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Happy to be joined by Jason Wilde and Tausch 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. Check out his work at channel3000.com. Hey, Wilde.
I'll tell you what, I was doing some TV stuff for Channel 3 in Madison, and I don't look anywhere as good as Gary Ellerson does on the round table with Leroy Butler and Dennis Krause. I could use some fashion tips.
It's always a very crisp suit you wear, Gary. I would echo Jason's sentiments there. Very crisp.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You guys are great.
What he doesn't tell you behind the scenes is that Leroy ties his tie.
There it is.
I think that's true.
Yeah,
that's okay.
True.
That's all right. I leave my ties tied.
Double Windsor.
So I don't have to tie them at all.
Yeah,
I thought his name was Leroy.
Him too.
That's a good nickname.
Yeah.
Jason, yesterday's game strikes me as, and you know I've talked about this quite a bit on other programs that we have the pleasure of having you on. It feels like the classic example of you got to win. It's a road win in the NFL. That always feels good. You didn't play your best, so there's plenty of stuff to correct, right? Isn't it? Don't we always call that like it's like the coach's dream? You win a game, but there's a lot to work on.
Yeah, in fact, that's almost verbatim what I said to LaFleur today, and he mentioned how Mike Shanahan, who obviously he worked for in Washington, would love it when there was a lot to correct, but you still won the game because it allows you to be harder on your team than if they're dispirited by a loss and then you're crushing them. You got to make the corrections either way, but the way it's delivered, obviously, Matt said it can be a little different because they're feeling good as opposed to downtrodden, losing a game they shouldn't have, which certainly is what happened in Cleveland a few weeks ago. So, look, they are an imperfect football team. They are all aware of that. And I don't need to make excuses for them. One of the reasons I love talking to Xavier McKinney is that he is as straight a shooter. He reminds me of the conversations I used to have with Charles Woodson. Like, there is no sugarcoating. There is no soft pedaling. And he basically said it yesterday after the game. This was good enough against these guys. It's not good enough against the best. And, yeah, it's good that we won, but he's concerned about the way they are playing. And so, and to your point, I think you mentioned it there at the end, as much as the fourth down call by LaFleur is crucial to them winning, and LaFleur said to us today that they don't win the game without Josh Jacobs doing what he did yesterday. Even with all that, even with finally getting a takeaway for only the third time all season, they still were inches away. Like, Jacoby Brissett still has a throw to the end zone, which, by the way, was caught. I mean, he's out of the end zone by a mile, but they were still within striking distance to go down and still win the game. And I think that's an important thing to remember because, this is a team now that has lost 5 games this season by a grand total of 13 points.
Right. I guess my biggest question would be, and I maybe see a little bit different because I'm on the outside looking in, though, but I still feel like, and nobody wants to hear it, but they're still the youngest team in the NFL. They still don't know what they don't know. I still think that the fourth down that they decided to go to, that he hit Tucker Kraft and he didn't really want to go for it. He sends the quarterback back in, all that kind of stuff. I think, to me, that goes a long way in the season in having confidence in Jordan Love, having confidence in himself, and that he can make those crucial plays. That's how quarterbacks grow into becoming Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, by having that experience.
Yeah, so I would say this. You and I, Gary, agree on a lot of things. In fact, the times that, and I know we can't afford you, but we sometimes would love to have you fill in for Tausch as our cousin sub of the day. But we agree on a lot. I'm going to disagree with you on this point. I agree with you on what you said about Love, right? Because, hey, he makes the throw to Tucker Kraft in a gotta-have-it situation. Think back to Cleveland. He throws a pick. You can say that the defender made a really good play. Delpit made a good play on that. You can say that LaFleur should have run the ball. The bottom line is he made a bad throw and a bad decision in a critical moment. And he's had a few of those this season. He did not have that yesterday in Arizona, and that is definitely growth. Where I would disagree with you is the days of the youngest team in the league are over, in my opinion, because they got a bunch of guys that help them have that youngest age, but all those guys are experienced now. Like all those guys on the offensive line, Zach Tom, Rasheed Walker, the wide receivers. I know Jaden Reed's not playing right now, but but him and Wicks and Dobbs and Watson when he gets back, Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave. I mean, he's a non-factor, and he's certainly a non-factor when he needs to block. These guys are all experienced. And so at some point, they don't get to use the crutch of being the youngest team in the league anymore. But I totally agree with the part about the growth. And whether that's Tucker Kraft, who still has room to grow, or that's Jordan Love, it doesn't matter if you're in year 3 or year 13. There are still ways for you to grow. Or if you're Aaron Rodgers and whatever this is, 21 for him, you have those opportunities, and it's up to you to take advantage of them.
Jason, in your opinion, what is the best combination of starting left corner, starting right corner, and starting slot corner?
So I'm glad you asked, because I thought Bill Huber from Sports Illustrated did a really good job of asking about Nate Hobbs, because I was going to be – I'm not very direct or concise, as you guys well know, both in my questions and my guest appearances. But he did a great job of kind of buttering LaFleur up and giving him some exits on how to answer it. And he at least got LaFleur to give a full-throated Chris McIntosh-style vote of confidence to Nate Hobbs. I don't see it. And I'm open to being proven wrong about him. But for as wonderful and, as I called them, grand slam home runs the signings of Jacobs and McKinney were a year ago, I don't see it with Hobbs at this point. He's physical, so physical that he hurt himself in training camp, has been dealing with a knee issue ever since. But he was a liability yesterday. And Matt LaFleur insists that he's going to bounce back. He will apparently be given the opportunity to do so. But to answer your question, I want on the outside Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine, who had his own issues against Dallas, no doubt about it. And I want Javon Bullard as my slot guy. And if that gets Nate Hobbs healthy and he can play at a higher level in a couple of weeks, then that's what I would think that Matt LaFleur would do, if that's the smart play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you on that. I just think with those guys on the back end, Hobbs just may be a slot guy and not maybe a guy that you can put on the outside, and he was exposed. We saw that. And I thought when they went and signed him, they said he could play both, but there's got to be a spot where he plays better than the other. I mean, not everybody can do both of those things like Keyshawn Nixon, and maybe he's not as talented as Keyshawn Nixon is, and that maybe he's just mainly a slot guy.
Well, it's frustrating to watch because he lined up, and it was a third down situation. He is press man. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is right across the line of scrimmage from him, and he barely gets a hand on Harrison Jr. who runs a kind of a simple, step to the left and move up the field, and he catches a pass, and Hobbs is trailing because he's not as fast as Harrison. If you're going to be right up on somebody, don't you have to alter their route? I mean, it was when little things become very big things, and it resulted in penalties, chunk yardage gains, and it kind of a mess. I mean, if it weren't for Micah Parsons and the ability for the Packers to pressure Jacoby Brissett, especially in key situations, Brissett had some misfires too, by the way, late in the game. You kind of point to Hobbs and say, wow, that was the piece that wasn't working. Every time I was watching a play, that seemed to go south, Jason. 21 was involved in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that play up, Greg, because and I have not gotten back. I haven't gotten the chance to look back on the game yet. I think something's messed up with my NFL Plus subscription. I should have never given you the password, Gary.
That's what happened.
I'm pretty sure that was the play that LaFleur was talking about today when he said that. I mean, he didn't call Hobbs by name, but he said that everyone else was playing zone, and we got one guy playing press man, and it ends up being a big play. So that very well could be the case.
I also felt like in this game defensively, it felt like they were playing Micah Parsons more on the outside, more so than the inside, and he got an opportunity to work the right tackle and the left tackle, and it felt much smoother for him on the outside where he can set guys up and have a big day for them.
Yeah, I would say this, and if you guys get a chance to listen to LaFleur's answer, I really enjoyed kind of putting him on the spot. Mm-hmm. Because my question to him was, do you think that the way the Cardinals approached Micah Parsons yesterday is a cautionary tale to future opponents who are going to be not putting him one-on-one anymore based on what they did? I mean, one of the reasons why that they took the approach they did with Parsons playing the way he did was because they continued to have him freed up one-on-one. You can't, I don't know how on earth that happened.
Well, because they didn't want McBride in blocking, and then they really maybe every other time they had a running back chip for the most part that had everybody out in the pass pattern. So and plus they really got no help.
Right, and they clearly thought that Paris Johnson could handle it. My favorite was on that last sack where the right tackle gets beat, and then the right guard looks at him, and you can see him start yelling at him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what I wanted to say was, hey, right guard guy, try blocking him one-on-one. Let me know how that goes for you, man.
So the Packers will take on the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend, Jason. I'm looking at the Packers roster right now, and Elton Jenkins, Jordan Love, Rasheed Walker, Zach Tom, Sean Ryan, Romeo Doubs, I'm guessing John Fitzpatrick, and that's about it.
No.
To me, am I missing one?
So I went through this. I think there's 14 total guys that were on the team when Rodgers was there. I'm sorry, I was distracted. Did you ask a different question?
No, I was going through a list. That was just the offense. I hadn't gotten to the defense yet. But I was going to add Keyshawn Nixon, Rashawn Gary. But I was somewhere in your neighborhood. But yes.
14 I think is the total. And that's counting Bo Melton, who was on the 53-man roster for the last two games of 2022, but didn't play in any of the games. And, LaFleur's point, I appreciate that he's a multi-talented guy, and he's got great eyebrows, really good-looking fella. He is not a sports journalism professor, but he wanted to make it clear to us that the Rodgers storyline is a storyline for us. It's not a storyline for the team. And part of his argument was the fact that there's not that many guys there. But I want to be clear. We'll talk to Jordan Love on Wednesday. But let's be honest. It's not with the vitriol that there was in 2009, which Mike McCarthy later admitted, and Tausch will tell you because he was on that team. It completely messed them up. Like, it was so much about beating Brett Favre that they were obsessed with beating him. And the results were terrible in both of those games. At the same time, there isn't that level, but Jordan Love wants to beat his mentor, and he has a great relationship with Rodgers. It's completely different than what Favre and Rodgers had. And so there's not that intensity. But to tell us that this is only a storyline for us, I talked to Xavier McKinney. I talked to Keyshawn Nixon. Keyshawn Nixon told me he's going to be, I can't use the word he used, trash-talking Rodgers all game long, and he wants to get a pick off of him. So while Matt may be giving me some journalism lessons, I can assure you he's got some guys in his locker room that are very much looking forward to playing a guy. It's not a hatred thing, but they still are very much aware of who the quarterback is, and they're looking forward to playing him.
Well, no doubt about it. I think there's some of those guys in that locker room, though, after Rodgers left, wanted to make a name for themselves and prove that they could win without Aaron Rodgers when it's been about him for such a long time, rightly so. But there's still one of the guys in that locker room want to prove themselves and got a chance to get an opportunity. Jordan Love is obviously the beneficiary of that.
Yeah, I'm fascinated because I had missed Christian Watson's dad's post about the. I guess it was in reaction to Matthew Golden not getting enough targets in his
Well, he
big
wasn't
game last
happy.
week.
He wasn't happy with Chewy, I guess.
Yeah, I heard that too. But who among us hasn't felt that? But like, I totally get. I don't have a problem with LaFleur's approach. Like, if Matthew Golden evolves into Devontae Adams, then he's going to get way more targets. Just like yesterday, Tucker Kraft. Like, I know he had like 2 catches at halftime or in the third quarter. He ended up with 10 targets. That I don't have a problem with their approach because they don't have a Devontae Adams, who, by the way, still clearly has it going on with his performance in London. So if Matthew Golden becomes that guy, that's a totally different story. But right now, I don't see a lot of separation even in years 3 and 4 with some of these guys. So I think it's better for Jordan Love to be able to just have the open guy be his favorite receiver. And I think that works pretty well, but it needs to get better.
We'll see how it evolves throughout the season. Jason Wilde joins us each and every week here on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Wilde, have a great rest of the week. We'll check in again soon.
All right, fellas. Take care. Be good.
Yep, you do the same. I want to talk more about Micah Parsons' day coming up on the other side. He was a game wrecker. Also, in the 7 o'clock hour, Gary, a sentence for you to complete. When you need a play, you put the ball in whose hands? We'll get to that coming up as we continue. Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday from Potawatomi Sportsbook.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Greg Matzek, Gary Ellerson, the day after reaction show you need in your life.
Who benefits the most from Micah Parsons being on the field?
Secondary. Keyshawn Nix.
It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Mondays with Greg and Gary.
If you're a quarterback, you've got to get the football out of your hands before you really want to do it. I mean, everybody's getting their wealth with this, but to me, I think it's really the guys in the secondary.
Live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios from 6 to 8 p.m. every Monday on 94.5 ESPN.
Hi, I'm Tony Dungy, and I want to take a moment to recognize the incredible work being done by PRISM Economic Development Corporation. Real change happens when people are given the opportunity to step into their God-given purpose. PRISM is doing just that, helping aspiring food entrepreneurs and small business owners turn their dreams into sustainable reality.
Join Tony Dungy and learn more about Prism Economic Development Corporation in Milwaukee at prismedc.org.
Introducing your new Dell PC with the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps you handle a lot, even when your holiday to-do list gets to be a lot. Like organizing your holiday shopping and searching for great holiday deals and customer questions and customers requesting custom things, plus planning the perfect holiday dinner for vegans, vegetarians, pescatarians, and Uncle Mike's carnivore diet. Luckily, you can get a PC with all-day battery life to help you get it all done. That's the power of a Dell PC with Intel inside, backed by Dell's price match guarantee. Get yours today at Dell.com/deals. Terms and conditions apply. See Dell.com for details.
Protect your home and auto by bundling them with Progressive, and you'll have a little less to worry about. But we know you'll find other things to worry about. Like that text you just got from your boss. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Oh, hey, call me when you get a sec. Yeah, this is bad. Oh, well, at least you protected your home and auto with Progressive, so you don't have to worry about that. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Kyle Brust-Nortman's Ben Brust here for Grimal & Associates Insurance. They do what anyone with a growing family, like myself, does. Protect what matters most. Grimal & Associates specializes in coverage that's tailored exactly to you. Clients aren't just policies. They're part of their community. Personalized American Family Insurance back service, expert guidance, and genuine commitment. Grimal & Associates focuses on building trusted relationships and providing peace of mind. The same values they've had for over 30 years in the Milwaukee area. Connect with Grimal & Associates at teamgrimal.com.
At Ewald Automotive, we make it easier than ever to get you into America's best-selling trucks and SUV during Ewald Truck and SUV Month. Ford, Ram, Chevy, GMC, Jeep, Kia, Volkswagen, and more. Ewald is your one-stop shop for trucks and SUV. All makes, models, and sizes. Choose 0 down, 0 payments till 2026, or 0% financing. All with our low price guarantee. All in one place. Ewald Truck and SUV Month going on now.
Go to EwaldAuto.com.
On select models with approved credit. See dealer for details. Expires month end.
The
The pursuit of fair wages and top-of-the-line benefits is achieved when the right union has your back. The Sheet Metal Workers Labor Union is extremely diverse, representing Wisconsinites working HVAC, architectural metals, welding, specialty fabrication, and much more. Make great living wages with outstanding benefits, pensions, and apprenticeship programs in trained, safe working environments. The Sheet Metal Workers Union is a leading force in the revitalization of the labor movement in Wisconsin.
What's better than cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand? Cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand that you got for 10% off. And when you get Packers checking from Associated Bank, you get even more. Like 10% off food and 10% off drinks on game day. Like that ice-cold beer in your hand. Plus 15% off Pro Shop gear. Only with Packers checking. Associated Bank. Bank of the Packers. Learn more at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Man, it's amazing. I think I can't state enough how fun it is just to have him on this team, and how much of a playmaker he is. In big situations like that, having 3 sacks on the day is big time. So, you can't state enough how much of a playmaker he is. And I think everybody on that defense, the D-line, RG doing his thing, other guys making big-time plays. So,
bash your way to $50,000 this October at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Play with your Potawatomi rewards card for entries. Prize drawings every Thursday. For more details, visit potawatomi.com/birdbash. Greg and Gary from Potawatomi Sportsbook. That was Jordan Love commenting on the play of Micah Parsons. You talk about a game wrecker yesterday. Did the Packers win if Micah Parsons doesn't have the game he has yesterday? 5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. He had like 8 pressures. Probably should have had a 4th sack. Officials called a hip drop tackle on him. To me, that was more about Jacoby Brissett being a big dude and trying to get away from a waist-high tackle. It just happened to be a hip drop per the officials' imagination. Otherwise, you're talking about a 4-sack day. The first of its kind for Micah Parsons, including a big sack late of Jacoby Brissett to push the Cardinals back a little further on their comeback attempt.
Yeah, I mean, they finally have a closer defensively.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a closer. He's a closer. And it reminds me a couple of things. Reminds me a lot of when they got Reggie White. It really does, because that was your closer, right? Along with Leroy, they would blend those guys in there and run some games in that. And it could elevate itself into being something like Woodson and Clay Matthews when Dom Capers had both of those guys. And he would use those guys interchangeably as far as in blitz packages. I think that was what we're getting. But make no mistake about it, Micah Parsons is the guy. He's a closer. And a lot of these guys, like with Sean Gary, Quay Walker had a great game. He had a great play. All these other guys will benefit from the kind of attention that Micah Parsons brings. But Micah Parsons has that unique ability. If you're going to guard him one-on-one, you're in trouble. And the Cardinals did that for the better part of the day and paid for it.
You called him a closer. I thought Parsons' comments following yesterday's game were interesting, and they kind of suggest what you are suggesting, Gary.
When it's time to win the game, just something just switches, and that's what we practiced this week. We had a clean 2-minute in practice this week, and let's have a clean 2 minutes in the game. And the one before half was rough. We got fixed that, but I'm just glad we finished that one at the end of the game.
You talk about it being time to go win a game. What goes through your mind as you're going on the field for that last series that offense finally has the lead and
yeah, it's just like this is what we practice for. This is everything that we worked, everything that we said we wanted to be, and we had our moment. We just took advantage of it. Now it's just about how can we play complete 4 quarters. That second quarter at the end of the half was a little rough by us. Unlike us, I'm just glad that we finished stronger this time. So it kind of was flip-floppy. I just want to do a consistent forward.
Yeah, it sounds good to say it, right? At that point of the game, time to win the game, you flip a switch. Not everybody can do that, though. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody can just sort of say, I'm taking this over, good luck. But he can. Yeah. And it's not that he isn't doing it at other points of the game. Don't get me wrong, there were some obvious passing situations there, but he was an absolute menace. And he alone makes it so Jeff Hafley doesn't have to worry about blitzing as often. The Packers have not blitzed terribly much this season. It's been very spotty, if I can recollect. But Parsons took that over late.
It's amazing to have that kind of power to do that. And a lot of people just really don't understand what that feels like. And not everybody can do that. I mean, there's very few guys in the NFL that can do that. Like, okay, now it's time for me to take over a game. That's absolutely, Greg, incredible. Because you're going to another level where there's nobody that can stop you. And it's not like he's picking and choosing spots. You just get into a situation where it's much like when Kevin Green says, it's time. I don't know what you're waiting on, Clay. Right now, we need you to make a play. I don't know how you do it, but it's time. And it's very few guys in the NFL, most of those guys that can do it are Hall of Famers, that can turn it on like that and go ahead and close the game out for you. It's incredible.
Peppers talked about that. I had a very interesting conversation with Julius this is years ago. I think maybe his final year in Green Bay. And he said, he spends an entire game in his snaps learning. It's an education. He learns about what's working for that guy in that particular day. So when it comes time to make a play in the fourth quarter, he's got the resume he needs to figure out how to best attack whoever's lined up in front of him. He was getting a little frustrated on being on a snap count in the final year in Green Bay in Dom Capers' defense, and he brought that up. He's like, look, I use all that time leading up to the fourth quarter. So when the game is on the line, I'm ready to go. Not that he wasn't ready earlier, but he's got a game's worth of information that he can use to his advantage to make those plays happen in the fourth quarter. He articulated it in a really interesting way. It was almost like just studying on the fly how your day is going, who you're lined up against, what is working for you, what's not working for them, where are they finding success. Really interesting conversation.
And that's why I said to you last week, and it works mostly for pass rushers. They had Michael Parsons moving around all over the place. Great. Fool somebody if you can, because a couple times it did work early on. They fooled a couple guys. They missed with Sean Gary. He got open free for a sack. But for the most part, for pass rushers, they need to set up the guy. And so in this game, that's why I say in this game, they played him more on the right side, and then they played him a little bit on the left side. But he was able to get a feel for who was doing what, who was coming where, instead of moving around all over the place trying to fool people. No, just let him go be where he's going to be, left side or right side, and let him set that guy up. And to me, I thought that's what contributed to the 3-sack game. Now, moving forward, I also said to you last week, well, now they got to play a little bit more sticky coverage. They got to play a little bit more man, because everybody's getting the ball out of their hands quick. 1, 2, 3, boom, ball's going off the back foot. 1, 2, ball is gone. And Jacoby Brissett did a lot of that. Now you can see, though, why, because we're talking about Hobbs and going into that. Now you can see why they were reluctant to play much sticky coverage or much man coverage, because they weren't confident in the guys on the back end to shut that thing down if they weren't going to get to the quarterback.
I want to continue the conversation with Micah Parsons in hour number 2. We will look ahead, of course, to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got a little highlight montage from yesterday to get to as well. Lots more here in hour number 2. Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday continues after this.
Hey, this is the Fat Jack, and football season is here. Are you ready to make money betting on sports? Are you ready to make a winning decision? Are you going to gamble for fun, or are you going to gamble for money? This year, make that decision that will build your bankroll all year long. Go to FatJackSports.com, and for less than $100 a week, make money betting on the games. That's FatJackSports.com. It's a personal portal. It comes to your email. It's hassle-free. It'll make you money. FatJackSports.com.
Memories made at a Milwaukee Bucks game last a lifetime. And this season, you can experience the unbelievable action your way. With a partial season ticket plan, you get to choose the games that work for your schedule, your budget, and your crew. Feel the intensity of the NBA's biggest matchups, the thrill of buzzer beaters, and the energy that brings the crowd to its feet. Be part of the moments that make Bucks basketball special. Find the plan that works for you at bucks.com/partial.
Every great team starts with a strong defense, and the same's true in business. That's why companies trust Trend Micro for cybersecurity. From ransomware to phishing to the most advanced cyber threats, they help protect your network, your data, and your people. With over 35 years of expertise, Trend Micro has built a defensive playbook trusted by enterprises worldwide. Your business works too hard to get blindsided. Go to trendmicro.com and see how enterprise security is done right. That's trendmicro.com.
This is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, letting you know that Siding Unlimited installs Pella windows and doors. That's right, Siding Unlimited installs windows, and we do it really well, earning the prestigious Pella Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. New windows, our expert team will deliver on a smooth, hassle-free installation, making you feel proud of calling Siding Unlimited for your window project. What's the next step? Call 262-567-4513 or go to sidingunlimited.com.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The game is over.
Who fakes the handoff to Jacobs and now throws, and it's taken in for a touchdown by Kraft.
And it's the day after.
I can't say enough about our guys. From the moment we got on the trip, nothing seemed to go right. To in-game, there was a lot of things that didn't go right, but the guys kept battling, and that's what it takes in this league.
Let's react to the game and look ahead. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios. Here's Greg Matzek and Gary Ellerson.
Hour number 2, it's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Greg and Gary with you. Monday Night Football here in Detroit. I expected more offensive fireworks in this particular game. Lions have a 7-0 lead over the Buccaneers. Detroit 4-2. I guess technically a half game back of the Packers because of that wacky tie. Same number of wins. Lions have one more loss, including a loss to the Packers. The Buccaneers are 5-1. A pretty amazing story here given how beat up they've been. The running game is not doing anything, really. Hasn't done anything all season. Wide receivers are all sorts of beat up. Curtis Godwin remains out. Mike Evans is finally back, but dealing with an injury. They got a rookie who's been really good. It's been a very interesting season for the Buccaneers. One of those teams that kind of goes under the radar because they probably aren't Philadelphia in the eyes of many. They're probably not Detroit in the eyes of many. But they are a first-place team. They are a playoff-caliber team. And I don't know if Baker Mayfield's going to get MVP votes. But the more he continues to do with less, the more he will.
Yeah, he should. The old NFC Central, I think that's what it was, Greg. It was probably, you weren't
back
born
in the day.
yet.
No, yes, sir, I was.
You were born yet.
When Tampa Bay was in the Packers division, absolutely.
Yeah, NFC Central. So
Bay of Pigs when they played each other. I remember.
Yeah, Bay of Pigs, Chris Berman. I think you're right about this. Baker Mayfield has will, in my opinion, this team to be as good as they are right now. And he has resurrected his career. That just shows you how bad of a franchise Cleveland really is. Once again, as we speak, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to take.
Well, that was about a 65-yard touchdown for Jahmyr Gibbs.
That's what he does.
Most people are not going to catch him.
Yeah, no, that's what he does right there. If you give him a little
home run hitter.
Yeah. But I think you're right when you led earlier. You started talking about the NFC. Both of these teams are obviously, along with the Packers, Eagles. Those teams are going to be around. This is a big game for the NFC right now to see who's going to really kind of get on top.
No doubt. Time to play a little buy or sell, right? Let's go through a couple of different items here that I've teed up for Gary. We'll get his thoughts. Is Gary buying or selling what we're dealing out to him?
The market is open, and the hot takes are trading fast. From bold predictions to brutal realities, it's time to put the takes on the table. Are you buying or are you selling? It's time to buy or sell.
A 78-yard touchdown run for Jahmyr Gibbs. I shorted him about 18 yards. Well, he ran it in about, 6 seconds. Right? He was down there in a blur, blink of an eye.
He's good.
So Detroit now with a 14-0 lead over Tampa Bay about halfway through the second quarter. All right, Gary, time to buy or sell. You ready to play?
Yeah, let's do it.
Boy, what a day for Lucas Haversick. Been a couple of weeks now for the Packers kicker. Perfect for the Packers, including a 61-yarder as time expired in the first half. Are you buying or selling? The Packers will roster 2 kickers for the rest of this season.
Buying, because they need them both. I think when you go back and look at the Packers, maybe 2-3 years ago, you didn't have a kicker. Now you got 2 kickers. Keep them both. They're making it happen. McManus now has enough time to get 100%. And I think once he is 100%, they'll go back to him. But you cannot let Haversick go. You got to keep him just in case that quad, is a quad or hamstring, whatever it is, props up again.
What about a trade opportunity?
Well, if there's somebody looking to give you, to me, it's got to be a 4th round or better.
4th round or better for a kicker.
Yeah, I'm not dealing him for a 7th round.
It's really interesting you mentioned that, because if a team is going to trade for a kicker, that means they've got a kicking issue and are likely a playoff team with a kicking issue, or they believe there'll be a playoff team.
You're right. That's what it would be.
So maybe there is a little more of a premium on that and what you're willing to give up. I don't think it would be a 4th round. I'd be shocked. Maybe that is the asking price from Green Bay.
I don't know, but for me, 4th round or better.
But keep this in mind. So Brian Gutekunst doesn't often trade draft capital, but he did for Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden the Packers are light a couple of first-round picks for the next couple of years, and we know Brian Gutekunst likes to have as many bullets in the chamber as possible. He wants to take as many at-bats as possible. Running out of cliches and analogies, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have first-round picks the next couple of years. Lucas Haversick doesn't turn into a first-round pick unless you package what you get for him with another pick to move into the first round, and that is certainly possible, depending what you get. I am very curious to see how this plays out. One thing that I know will not happen, the Packers will not simply release or waive Lucas Haversick. And I don't think he ends up on the practice squad, because he could be signed off the practice squad. That's how the Packers found him.
Right.
They plucked him off a practice squad. He wasn't kicking where he was. He ends up in Green Bay, and he sets a franchise record, 61-yard field goal, and a franchise been around for over 100 years. So I am with you. One of 2 things happens. Trading is an option, but it's got to be something worth your while. Or he is just rostered, which sounds crazy, because that comes at the expense of somebody else. And maybe you're 46. Now, it could be on the 53 and not part of the game day 46. That's likely to be what happens here. But if you've ever had a quad injury, it's not unlike a hamstring injury.
Right.
That could come back.
It can.
For sure.
Right. And it can. And so that's the issue that you have right now with him, is that you never know when that injury is going to crop back up again. So that's why you got to stay on it and cover yourself with it. So, yeah, buy-in.
It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if Haversick kicks this weekend, but he will be part of the organization when Brandon McManus comes back. I have to believe he will. You step in with ice-cold water in your veins like that and start drilling field goals and helping win 1-score games, hitting a 61-yarder, clutch kicks in the fourth quarter, and nothing has looked iffy either. It's been true and confident.
Right. It's been pretty much automatic, Greg, which is, dude's a school teacher about a week ago.
That's impressive.
Just kicking at the middle school.
Who were your kickers when you played in Green Bay?
You
had Del Greco. You did, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
He went on to the Cardinals after that, didn't he?
Did he? Yeah. He played for a long time.
Yeah,
Great golfer.
He was around for a minute.
Great golfer.
Of course, he was a kicker.
We probably should get him at the Lombardi.
We'll see what we can do.
Scratch golfer.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get him on my team then.
Yeah.
Are you buying or selling this? Jacoby Brissett had a passer rating of 119 when targeting Nate Hobbs. Are you buying or selling the Packers should replace Hobbs with Carrington Valentine on the outside? Hobbs has primarily been a slot corner in his career.
And here's what I said to you earlier, and I don't know whether I'm buying or selling, but his best spot is probably on the inside. And that's where he needs to be.
It's where they use Javon Bullard right now, their safety.
Right. So then either you alternate those two guys in that position. He's not a player that you can play on the outside.
So are you buying the idea that Carrington Valentine should start on the outside?
Yes, I guess I am buying that because I don't want to see him out there anymore.
Okay, so that's the default option, right?
Yes,
I mean, that's the default.
Get him back inside. Because a lot of guys can't do both, and they're asking, and we knew when he came in that he was a slot corner. The Packers said he can play both. And maybe he did a little bit of that in Oakland, but he is primarily a guy that you play in the slot. So I just leave him there and find a corner.
Nate Hobbs reminds me of a Packer named Josh Jones. Packers had Josh Jones
I remember him.
Several years ago from North Carolina State, and he was technically a safety. He was not a corner.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Jones had all the bark in the world, right? Played physical, but he's always behind wide receivers. Got him toward the line of scrimmage, he got swallowed up by offensive linemen or even tight ends and running backs. He had all the bark and not a lot of bite. Nate Hobbs has some bark. He doesn't have any bite. He is a waste of money.
Well, he'll hit you. That's his thing. He's very physical.
They're great.
Yeah, but he
hit his own teammates in training camp. That was a problem.
Yeah, he can't play in space.
What good does it do
He's out of position.
Hitting somebody if they've already caught the ball and it's 15 yards downfield?
He's out of position. You got to get him back in his position, Greg. He's out of position.
The early returns on Nate Hobbs are not very good.
Yeah.
I think he is nothing more than a dime corner at this point. You get him on the field with a matchup he can control against a number 3 or 4 receiver, but not a 1 or 2.
I don't know if he's a dime corner.
So what do you do in this situation? Because he has not played up to what his contract suggests he should be playing up to, and the Packers paid him good money to be here, along with Aaron Banks, and that's another story, the offensive lineman who's been hurt but did play on Sunday. In your experience, where does the communication come from? Does the GM say, look, we paid this dude, we got to make this work, right? He is here for a reason. We saw that he has the ability to do this. We think he can do this. You need to get that out of him. Or does the coach say, look, dude, you gave us, this ain't working. This ain't working. We're trying with him, but it's just not sinking in. Where does the communication begin? Because there's no way Matt LaFleur or Jeff Hafley can be happy with what they're seeing out of this guy.
Well, let me give it to you this way. I could play fullback, and I could do it. I wasn't great at it. I was a better tailback than I was a fullback. They need to find out, and I know they already know this, get him where he can be productive. And to me, that's in the slot.
I thought you were going to say in the blue tent.
Well, if he's hurt, did. But other than that is in the slot. I don't think you should just get rid of him. I think there's a role for him on this team. And to me, that is he is a guy that needs to be in the slot, not on the outside.
Well, we'll see if anything changes here. But Carrington Valentine has had some moments, but they paid Nate Hobbs to be there and be the guy. Keyshawn Nixon's been okay, pretty good.
I don't know if they thought, he is going back, and maybe they did, but I think they thought Jair was still going to be here. And he would have never been out there at corner on the island like that had they had Jair. He'd have been in the slot.
You paid him good money to have a pretty prominent role in your defense.
They did.
Right?
They did. And they needed to because they needed someone.
Well, maybe it was guarding against the idea of Jair Alexander leaving.
Yeah.
And, hey, if Jair stays, great. Then we got a little more depth.
We got way more depth. But right now he's been exposed outside, and he's not an outside corner.
The Packers
everybody can do that.
Do not have very strong depth at the cornerback position right now. Their safety position is pretty strong. Their cornerback position is not. That's not an indictment on Keyshawn Nixon, but there's not a lot after him right now, and even Nixon's been just sort of okay. He competes,
right?
No doubt about that. He competes, but you're trying to tell me he's going to guard Justin Jefferson? That's just not happening. You're trying to tell me he's going to guard A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith? The Packers do not have the horses at corner to hang with those guys.
Right.
They need the pass rush to influence what happens at that position.
Right.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, and they know it. It's coming up.
That is dangerous.
Yeah.
Mark it down for me.
What's that?
As we approach the middle portion of the season. The most colossal waste of money this season in free agent spendings was the Packers signing Nate Hobbs.
Okay.
He's been a disaster.
Colossal.
It's been really bad.
But, Greg, what if they got him out of position?
Then that's an errant judgment.
That's
an errant judgment on Goody.
But that's not.
Where they're putting him has been bad.
But you knew that coming in that was his second position. His main position was in the slot.
I would argue this.
That was his. They knew that.
He wasn't very good at that either.
But that's the Packer way. The Packer are always trying to pay somebody to do multiple things, and then they end up not doing anything. And you want to talk about Banks, and you want to talk about Jordan Morgan. I mean, they got these guys. Belton. They got these guys all over the place, so they're not good at any one thing. And they know what this guy can play. They know he's a pretty good slot guy, but they don't have a choice but to throw him out there because they don't trust the other guy. But now they have to go to Valentine right now because that's all they have.
This will be interesting if they move Carrington Valentine into a starting capacity.
Yeah, Valentine, I'm sorry.
Does Hobbs just get benched? Because I don't think they're moving Javon Bullard.
No, he goes back into a rotation of players. And Javon Bullard hadn't been that great last year. So he has his moments too. So you may have a revolving door, interchangeable door right there at that slot spot.
Not a great situation right now, the Packers secondary. Aside of Xavier McKinney, and he's had some kind of off moments as well, but they're just not throwing his direction.
Exactly.
They're
Xavier
not throwing his way.
No, here's what's happening, Greg, because he's got to be over the top of all this junk. They can't really bring him up to try to take any chances. He's the last line defense. He's the guy, if you look behind him, it's what? The end zone. They say don't get big deep. So now that takes him out of being the creative player that he is because he's too busy playing center field.
Coming up on the other side, Gary, I want you to finish this sentence.
Greg.
When you need a play, you put the ball in blanks.
Okay.
Hands.
All right.
Fill in the blank. We'll do it after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
And I just remember watching the Dodgers-Brewers series this year, and it just felt like every time we got their starter out, it was Rap City. We were going to pound down.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
We got to make these games long. We got to battle these starting pitchers. We got to make them get the pitch count up and get in that pen. We get in that pen, we're going to be penning our way to a World Series.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
It's a bird bash at Potawatomi. Thursdays, you could win up to $50,000 cash in the Bird Bash game show. Just play with your rewards card this October for a chance to win. Wouldn't you like to rake in a huge pile of cash? Bird Bash, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info at Potawatomi.com/birdbash. Must be 21 years old to play.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Love, Jacobs, McKinney, Golden, and now Micah Parsons? This year's gonna be fun. Now's the time to set a game plan for your Green Bay and Wisconsin pigskin parties. This is Marie from Discount Liquor. We are your football party beverage headquarters. Whether you need an ice cold keg, a bottle of your favorite wine, a unique craft brew, or hard to find liquor, we have everything you need, all at the lowest prices in town. Come see us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Maine in downtown Waukesha. Voted best liquor store again.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
Wherever you're tailgating, we'll get you all set up with your favorite beverages. We're open daily 9 to 9 and Sundays 10 to 2. See all of our weekly specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com.
Discount Liquor.
The NBA season is officially here, and we're going hard from start to finish. Every player is showing out. All 30 teams are locking in. To win it all in this league, fans and players need to give everything. All season long. The American Express NBA tip-off begins Tuesday on ESPN, NBC, Peacock, and Prime.
Your neighbors are talking. Did you see their siding? Yikes. That drafty window? It's basically air conditioning. From nature. Don't be the scary house on the block this fall. Call Exterior Pros and Baths and get $3,000 off your roofing, siding, windows, or bath project. No tricks, just treats. That's 262-800-4274 or click your way to extpros.com. Fall in love with your home again. Trust the pros.
Fans, don't let dirt and road grime bench your car this October baseball season. Step up to the plate with Tsunami Express Car Wash, where every visit delivers the MVP shine. With unlimited washes, fast lane access, and free vacuums, you can keep your ride looking like a champion all season long for less than $1 a day. And with 7 Milwaukee area locations, including New Berlin, it's easy to score big no matter where you're headed. Join the winning team today at TsunamiExpress.com. That's Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
Kevin Moret here for Mentality. Listen up, gentlemen. You're fighting an unfair battle. Studies show testosterone levels in men have plummeted by 25% in just 2 decades. That's why you're struggling with energy, muscle, and drive. But here's a game changer. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments boost testosterone by 30% on average. Imagine reclaiming the vitality your grandfathers had. Picture turning heads, dominating your career, and feeling unstoppable again. Don't settle for today's normal. Seize the day at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Just let me cry.
Yeah, Josh is a dog, you know you're going to get his all every time. And obviously, last week he's dealing with an illness. This week he's dealing with, a strain, an injury. So, he's one of those guys that you just know you're going to get his best every time. He loves the game. And he finds ways to make big-time plays and kind of just put the team on his back, and that's what he did today.
Packers quarterback Jordan Love commenting on the play of Josh Jacobs yesterday. So 55 yards, 4.2 a carry, couple of touchdowns. The blocking on one touchdown was pretty on point. The blocking on another touchdown was not very good, but Josh Jacobs made it happen, and effective in the passing game as well. I do sort of feel like he's the heart and soul of the Packers offense right now, and they lean on him. They definitely do, and he was a little compromised going into yesterday's game on the injury report with an injury, calf strain plus an illness. They elevated Pierre Strong from the practice squad going into Sunday. Weren't exactly sure what Josh Jacobs' situation was going to be. Certainly has established himself in this league as a bona fide, true professional and a guy you can lean on. Let me ask it this way, Gary, and maybe he is the answer to the question for you, but when you need a play, you put the ball in whose hands on the Packers offense?
Well, we'll excuse Josh Jacobs out of this, okay? It would be Tucker Kraft. Got to figure out how to get him the ball. Some way, somehow, because it feels like he's always going to have the right matchup. And it feels like at this point, a little bit more dependable. My second guy, if I will go down the line, would be Romeo Doubs. I think Romeo Doubs has quietly had a great season after the debacle last year. Nobody's talking about it, but he's been catching a lot of balls with his hands. He's been sure, great route running. So he'd be my second choice on that. And then as he's matured, you got to figure out how to get Matthew Golden the ball a little bit more. I think he's more of your big play threat than any of those guys where they can figure out how to consistently get him the ball down the field. You just don't hear much from him.
He was active early in yesterday's game, and then it kind of went quiet.
Away, yeah.
But in terms of targets, Tucker Kraft, 32 targets this year, does lead the team in yardage. However, Romeo Doubs, 36 targets, and then Matthew Golden, Josh Jacobs, Dontavian Wicks, and then it really falls off after that. Mm-hmm. So primarily 5 guys are getting the lion's share of balls thrown in their direction. I'm with you, and I understand exactly what you're saying. It's hard to say. When you need a play, you got to get the ball to Josh Jacobs. When you're thinking you need a play, it's probably something in the passing game that you're looking for because of the situation.
Downfield, yes.
Right, you got to close the game out, or you need to extend a drive,
right.
and to say you're going to lean on the run game in that situation, that doesn't come to my mind,
right.
and it kind of does put Josh Jacobs on the outside of that discussion. Mm-hmm. I am with you 100%. I watched Trey McBride yesterday, and I watched Tucker Kraft play yesterday, and I thought these tight ends are very similar. The Tucker Kraft probably is a better blocker than Trey McBride. They ask him to block a little bit more.
Not much, yeah.
Trey McBride is a true difference-making tight end in the NFL, and there are a small handful of them.
Yeah.
I watched Trey McBride play, and he was a focal point of the offense that also has Marvin Harrison Jr. on it, a young player.
Right.
And they're kind of beat up after that and a little inexperienced and unheralded. I'm with you. I think if you're going to put up a ball, and we got to get one here. We have got to get one here. I trust that Tucker Kraft is going to be open. I trust his hands.
He's going to be where he's supposed to be.
He's going to be in the right spot.
Yeah.
I trust Romeo Dobbs' ability to win the 50-50 ball and to go up in traffic and pull one down. Maybe that's a deep ball. But I think Tucker Kraft is the answer to the question.
Yeah, he is. No doubt about it. The fourth down. That wasn't a short throw that he caught there. I mean, so I think more than anybody else, if you're looking for Jordan Love to have that guy, it's Tucker Kraft, and he's got to be targeted a little bit more. I mean, the game before he only had like 2 or 3 targets. He's got to have more than that.
So how do you make that happen, right? Because Matt LaFleur has said, look, we're an equal opportunity offense here. We spread the ball around. To me, that was saying we don't have Devontae Adams on this team. And while player X or player Y might be emerging, these are all good players, right? He kind of lumps them into the same category. He's saying we're the equal opportunity. We're open, you're going to get the ball.
Well, I think this goes back to probably Aaron Rodgers when he would just throw the ball into double coverage and have guys running open underneath. Matt LaFleur, that's what he's saying. Throw it to the guy that's open, and you don't have to force it into double coverage. That's really what this offense is, kind of what it's predicated on, him scheming plays and guys get open, read the defense. So that's why Matthew Golden, it's kind of his numbers look the way they look, because maybe they haven't called enough plays for him for them to throw him the football. I just think, for me, when you start talking about guys right now that they need, is Tucker Kraft. He's your go-to guy when you need to get something. Now, like I say, this is all going to change when Christian Watson come back, but you still need not to go away from Tucker Kraft.
Coming up on the other side, we will take a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Aaron Rodgers, how they have arrived at the record they are at, plus coming off a loss here to the Bengals in a shootout of quarterbacks both in their 40s. The young guy won. That was Joe Flacco, amazingly. But before we get to that, I want to take you out with some highlights and sounds from the Packers' win Sunday in Arizona against the Cardinals.
First and goal from the 7, inside the 5 to the end zone. Touchdown, Josh Jacobs. Hands it off to Jacobs, and he is in for a Packers touchdown, his second today.
Josh is a dog, you know you're going to get his all every time. Obviously, last week he's dealing with illness. This week he's dealing with, a strain, an injury. So, he's one of those guys that you just know you're going to get his best every time. He loves the game. He finds ways to make big-time plays and kind of just put the team on his back, and that's what he did today.
Lucas Haversick from 61, and the kick is good.
He's answered every challenge that's been put in front of him. We don't win that game without his ability to go out there and make all his tries, his attempts. And 61-yarder, I didn't envision that going into the game. He's done a hell of a job.
New set of downs. As Brissett has the ball knocked loose. That's recovered by the Packers. Jordan Love and the Packers on 4th down. Love throws to the outside. It's caught for a first down by Kraft.
I looked up at the clock, saw how much time was left. I was like, no matter what we call, this guy's going to make it work. Didn't necessarily get the play that we wanted, but it doesn't matter sometimes when you have guys that have confidence in what they're doing, and Tuck did a hell of a job winning on the route. Our O-line protected, and Jordan gave him the chance, and that's exactly what it took.
Who fakes the handoff to Jacobs, and now throws, and it's taken in for a touchdown by Kraft.
We're trying to win the game, to shorten the switches, and that's what we practiced this week. We had a clean 2 minute. This is everything that we worked, everything that we said we wanted to be, and we had our moment. We just took advantage of it. Now it's just about how can we play complete 4 quarters.
Second down and 15. Brissett in trouble, and he is sacked. Parsons once again, along with Clay Walker, 3rd and goal. Brissett, Parsons again. Parsons takes down Brissett. Need a touchdown from the 26. Here comes Parsons. Wow. Go.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Hi, I'm Tony Dungy, and I want to take a moment to recognize the incredible work being done by PRISM Economic Development Corporation. Real change happens when people are given the opportunity to step into their God-given purpose. PRISM is doing just that, helping aspiring food entrepreneurs and small business owners turn their dreams into sustainable reality.
Join Tony Dungy and learn more about PRISM Economic Development Corporation in Milwaukee at prismedc.org.
Now's the time to plan your total experience getaway to the Island Resort and Casino. With over 450 hotel rooms and a luxurious spa, relax in style before diving into non-stop casino action. Watch your favorite teams on the big screens and enjoy great food and drinks at T. McSee Sports Bar, or savor top-tier dining at Horizon Steakhouse. Then amp up your night with live music and comedy. Head to where the big game, big wins, and big fun come together. The Island Resort and Casino.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here with a refreshing offer for a bath or shower remodel from Kohler Services. And this month only, get 0 interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. My new friend Chris from Oostburg is one of their skilled installers who demos your existing bath or shower, removes it, and disposes it before installing your brand new dream shower. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Bucks basketball is back and it's time to play. There's nothing like the energy inside Fiserv Forum. The roar of the crowd, the freakish slam dunks, the buzzer-beating threes. Catch the home opener Wednesday, October 22nd against Washington. Then don't miss New York on Tuesday, October 28th, and Golden State on Thursday, October 30th. With new additions to the squad like Miles Turner, this season is set to be electric. Get in on the action with the ticket plan that works for you. Don't miss a moment of the excitement. Get your seats now at bucks.com/tickets. That's bucks.com/tickets.
Hi, it's Jason Wilde from Wilde & Tausch, inviting you to join me July 5th on a journey through the lovely landscapes of England, Scotland, and Wales with Colette. We'll take in the charm of the countryside and the history of the great cities. Imagine standing before Big Ben in London, then later gazing out from Edinburgh Castle. So rich in history, it feels like you're stepping back in time. Along the way, we'll explore the storybook villages of Chester and Shakespeare's Stratford-upon-Avon, places where every street seems to whisper a piece of history. And how about a scenic train ride through the rolling green hills that lead us right into the medieval city of York? It's all part of this incredible journey. From iconic landmarks to cozy villages, from bustling city streets to peaceful countryside views, you'll experience the very best of Britain's history, culture, and beauty, and create memories that last a lifetime. To learn more about this amazing adventure, text TRAVEL to 800-990-3776 or visit ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com for full details.
This is Mike and Michelle Grau from Professional Construction Inc.,
a.k.a. PCI.
Around here, they're the same thing, like Friday fish fry and a good old-fashioned.
We're the Waukesha neighbors you see at the grocery store. Friday night football games, and yes, in your kitchen, making that space better than ever.
For us, PCI isn't just a name. It's family, it's community. It's putting our heart into every build and remodel.
PCI, for all your construction needs. Visit ProfessionalConstructionInc.com.
Penalty flags? Not here. Carbless is the clean play that every football fan can agree on. With 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and just 100 calories, you get all the flavor without the penalty. Whether you're tailgating outside the stadium, hosting a crew at home, or watching solo in your lucky jersey, Carbless brings premium cocktails right into the huddle. Made to be refreshingly delicious and game day ready, Carbless keeps fans cheering from kickoff to the final whistle. So this season, skip the sugar, skip the carbs, and make the winning call. Find your bliss with Carbless.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
When the story isn't in Green Bay, you gotta go straight to the source. Each week, we check in with the people on the inside. This is Not My Beat.
Taking a look at the Packers' next opponent here, the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by quarterback Aaron Rodgers, coming off a loss that I did not expect against the Cincinnati Bengals. Not because it was, the loss to the Bengals, division opponent, never know what's going to happen, but that was like a shootout loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Defense optional as the Bengals earned a 33-31 win. Joe Flacco besting Aaron Rodgers. The teams played on Thursday night last week. Another primetime game for the Steelers this week, and a little extra rest taking on the Green Bay Packers. Let's look at the Steelers first and foremost, Gary, trying to figure out what they do best, what they're maybe not so great at. They do have a record of 4-2, however, coming off that loss to the Bengals. And Aaron Rodgers is having a stable season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I mean that in a complimentary way. Had a couple of games where the stats look really good. Aaron Rodgers of old, 4 touchdowns, and not cracking 250 yards all that often, but nonetheless, not making a ton of mistakes until he did against the Bengals. Some not so familiar Aaron Rodgers showed up in that game against the Bengals with a couple of ill-timed picks. But nonetheless, he has stabilized the position for a franchise that has been nothing but stable since Mike Tomlin arrived. And really, you could argue, since Bill Cowher arrived. Steelers know what they're doing.
No, they do.
As an organization
yeah.
overall.
Yeah, as an organization.
It's a good fit for Aaron Rodgers. It seems to be working for the most part.
It has. And because the thing with the New York Jets was just bad all the way around. There was
Still is.
Yeah, there was nothing there for him to go to. Brag organization. But now he goes to a organization that's led by the Rooneys, who one of the better programs in the NFL. I mean, I think they've only had, 3 head coaches in their existence, in their team existence, I believe. Tomlin's his third one, obviously. So Chuck Noll, I think, was their first one, and then you talked about Bill Cowher, and then now Mike Tomlin. So they've had a lot of consistency going on in their organizations, which lends itself well to what Aaron Rodgers has been able to do. I mean, they ask him not to lose it, and they've got a run game. They primarily want to lean on their defense, but the defense has not been as good as it has been as year past. But he's got a couple receivers. Metcalf has been really good for him. Their tight end has been really good, and they've been able to run the football. So it leads to a good equation for Rodgers, where if you had to put it on his shoulders, I think he still can do some of it, but he can't do that for 17 games.
Well, you make a very interesting point about the defense, because what I watched on Thursday night against the Bengals was nothing short of a disaster on defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's uncommon to me. I don't typically watch the Steelers play and say to myself, boy, that team has got nothing on defense. Mm-hmm. They do, and they do have some good talent on defense. Where I think they're vulnerable, and where they showed up as being vulnerable against the Bengals, was in the secondary, right? Joe Flacco, we saw him a couple of weeks ago playing for the Bengals, just arrived in Cincinnati, didn't have to drive too far from Cleveland, but got to Cincinnati days before taking the field at Lambeau and starting for the Bengals. And Flacco in that offense sort of found a rhythm in the second half, made that game a lot more cosmetically interesting, if you're looking at the final score, than I think Packers fans had hoped. Next opportunity, short week, you're preparing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Flacco throws for 342 yards and 3 touchdowns. And we know what he likes to do. Get the ball out of his hand quickly. He's got to. Nobody ever said anything about the talent at the skill position with Cincinnati in a negative fashion. They got skill position players like teams would dream to have, right? So Jamar Chase blows up 16 receptions. He was targeted 23 times. You want to know what a number 1 looks like? That guy.
Right.
That guy's a number 1.
With T. Higgins on the other side, your number 2.
Well, T. Higgins would be a number 1 in Green Bay.
Sure.
So they've got talent. But where I think they showed some vulnerability is with veteran corners who they brought in to try and stabilize their outside. And we all know the names, right? Jalen Ramsey's a name. You know that name. Jalen Ramsey's old, right? So, I mean, he was just not able to cover the likes of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Their corners got just torched last week.
Right. And I think what we fail to realize, I think most Packer fans see it after the fact, Joe Flacco made that game much closer than we thought it would be when they played the Green Bay Packers, because he was that good of a quarterback. I don't think people was really counting on Flacco to come to do anything with Cleveland. And I know we're past that game, but you still could see what Flacco could do, how he could manage a game, shorten it up, and not really make the crucial mistakes. I think moving forward, it is a big game. They will tell you that it's not, but I think it's a big game for both franchises. Most certainly, you're going to hear Aaron Rodgers talk about it. I don't know how much you're going to hear from the Packers, but most certainly Rodgers is going to be out front. You know he wants this game. And I feel like, is it the same or different than when they played Brett Favre?
Way different.
When he was with
Minnesota. Way different. A night and day difference. And here's why. It's the Minnesota Vikings. It's not the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it was right away, too, right? I mean, it was the very next year. Aaron Rodgers inserted as a starting quarterback. And, if Favre got to Minnesota after that, postgraduate internship with the Jets, and that's where he wanted to go all along. Right. Like that was the whole thing. And Ted kind of blocked that. We're not going to get you there. We're going to trade you to where you don't want to go, and you're going to do stupid things out there with the sideline reporter, doing all that kind of stuff, ruining her life and ruining your own. Then he ends up in Minnesota and ultimately had a pretty good year with Minnesota. But nonetheless, I mean, to me it feels very different because Favre had sort of become public enemy number one because he went to Minnesota, right? That was part of it. I know there are some Brett Favre fans still in the stands. This feels different. It's several years now removed. A couple of years to the Jets that didn't work out. It's still in the AFC, not a bitter division rival. You're starting to get to the point now in the Packers roster where a handful of guys who will play on Sunday remember playing with Aaron Rodgers, but the majority of that roster does not. It's still a team you want to beat and a guy you'd probably love to beat, right? I don't discount that, but it doesn't feel anywhere near the same as it did with Favre and the Vikings.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, and because it's still early yet, Rodgers going to chirp where I don't think Brett Favre did. I think you knew he was coming. It was the Vikings, so that was because it was a rival game. But I think Rodgers going to say something. And I think that's what's going to ratchet it up here at some point. It's going to be higher than what we think it's going to be. Because Rodgers wants this game in the worst way. He always wears that chip on his shoulder. He always wants some get back. I think Brett Favre wanted to get back to, but never really said it. I think Rodgers is going to say it. I think that's going to intensify everything once he comes out and do his presser.
I think Rodgers looked at the Jets game and circled that one before he circled the Packers game.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Aaron Glenn outed him.
Oh, yeah.
To his face.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Rodgers came back and threw 4 touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
Aaron, with a chip on his shoulder, has some occasional magic, right?
Yeah.
There is still he will be able to throw it forever in his life.
Mm-hmm.
There is still occasional magic there. I think when the schedule came out, he circled that game before the Green Bay game.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I disagree with that. I do. But I think now he turns his attention to the Green Bay Packers. I really do. And he's going to say something great.
I think it's a big deal. I'm curious to see what he says, though, because I think he'll be nothing but complimentary of Jordan Love at his time with Jordan. Love Jordan. Got a lot of friends over there. I think he'll say a lot of that.
You think he's going to go there like that? Yeah.
I think he'll have to get pressed on more the Goody kind of side of things, right? Like in how are things ended. That may be where the frustration is.
That's where it's at.
I don't think it's with the team or individuals.
Yeah.
I really don't think that. I kind of feel like he and Matt LaFleur's relationship is, I don't think it's bitter. I don't think there's anything harsh there.
What? And I don't want to see them loving him all up. I don't want to see all that.
There might be a jersey change after the game with Favre and Love. With Rodgers and Love.
I don't want to see all that.
I think this is a big deal to Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't have to search far for motivation.
Yeah.
Right? He's always been internally motivated. He will say that, but Aaron Rodgers has always jumped at the opportunity to have a chip on his shoulder. He has performed well with that chip on his shoulder. I don't think the chip is as big with the Packers as it was with the Jets. The whole Aaron Glenn thing blew it up.
I don't disagree with that. I think you're right. No doubt about it, because he even said it. I want to beat everybody.
That was part of the post game.
Yeah,
that was a big part of the post game.
He even talked about it.
Here's what Matt LaFleur had to say about it. Asked earlier today about the idea of facing Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It almost seems like had Matt LaFleur not even been asked a question, he would have volunteered an answer. Here's what he had to say.
Pittsburgh Steelers, who happen to have Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's as simple as that. That is for you guys to talk about. Granted, I mean, we've got a lot of respect and love for Aaron. I mean, what he's done here, he's a Hall of Famer. And I know, like, our past together, we had a lot of great moments. But this game is not about that. It's about going to Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football. Our guys will be jacked up. Their guys will be jacked up. It's about the Green Bay Packers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's for you guys to talk about all those other storylines.
So if it's for us to talk about, you still have to, do you still address it with your guys with the message you just gave us, or how do you, because you can't just pretend that it's not happening, right? You don't not mention them at all, do you?
I think a lot of these, I don't even know if many of these guys played with him. So, I mean, there's a few guys, but yeah, I think that's just, yeah, it's for you guys. I'm going to talk about how we, just like we do every week, what is our blueprint and what are our keys in order to go to Pittsburgh, which is a damn good football team and a really tough, hostile environment, and try to play our best.
It's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur.
He's fooling himself.
Well, it's like he would have volunteered the information had the question not even been asked. He came to the press conference.
He knew what he was going to say.
With that answer all set to go.
Yeah, he's fooling himself.
Right?
Don't go in like that, Matt. Maybe you just want to tell us that it's quite to squelch it down and try to make it about the media, but it's more than that. Anybody who thinks what Matt is saying is truth is sadly mistaken. It's way more than that. It's way more than that for Rodgers, and it's way more than that for some of those guys in the locker room.
3 years removed, is it still a big deal for Goody?
That's a good question. I would say yes. Because he's still playing. You let him go. When you move away from a guy, you don't want that guy to come back and beat you. And the guy that you let go, he wants to come back and beat you. And if you have any pride of those guys in the locker room, you don't want that guy to come back and beat you either. And I would just say that I think a lot of those guys in the locker room, after Aaron Rodgers left, the spotlight got shined on them just a little bit brighter after he left. It became more about a team than it was the individual after Rodgers left. A lot of those guys got a little bit more shine.
Going to give you a few names. You tell me the top name in the scouting report. If you're the Packers defense, you're Jeff Hafley. Who is the top name on your scouting report? Aaron Rodgers, running back Jaylen Warren, tight end Pat Freiermuth, or wide receiver DK Metcalf? That's about the only options you got.
Not even close as Aaron Rodgers. You got to get him on the ground. Got to get him on the ground. Got to make him feel it. When you're 40 years old, I never played with him 40, but I know. But when you're 40 years old, those hits hurt. Those secondary hits hurt. You got to hit him every single time that he dropped back to pass football. They got to get to him. Micah Parsons got to put pressure on him. Now, he showed some ability to run the football a little bit last week to get out of harm's way, but you got to have him contained. Don't think he won't break out of the pocket just because he's 40. He can't. He likes to throw and run, but you got to hit him every single time. You got to keep him in third and long. You can't let him be in second and short when then Aaron Rodgers can dictate how he wants the game to be played.
7:25 the kick on Sunday Night Football. Packers in Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. We'll wrap up the program with some final thoughts. Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday continues after this.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. It doesn't matter if it's your first betting slip ever or just the first one of the week. We've got your Potawatomi Sportsbook picks covered. Tune in Wednesdays to the Weekly Wager with Josh DiMaggio and Ben Brust.
Greasy Ben Brust. Just whichever way the wind's blowing. I have bad posture. I don't have a great backbone, Joshy.
The Weekly Wager, Wednesday nights at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. If you're looking to spruce up your holiday party this season, there's no place to look other than X-Golf inside American Family Field. It's a unique space unlike any other that's great for golfers and non-golfers alike, featuring great views of the ballpark while you get to play golf, plus a full menu, full bar, and catering options are available. They can host parties from 12 up to 200 people, so don't wait. Head over to the website, find out more information about a great holiday space at xgolfamfamfield.com.
The delicious taste of victory deserves something equally superior. Cheer on your team with Michelob Ultra. At 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, it's a superior, smooth taste worth playing for. Grab a Michelob Ultra, superior light beer, as you cheer your team on. Michelob Ultra, official beer sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Enjoy a Michelob Ultra at Dugout 54 in Milwaukee, Maxwell's in Cedarburg, Stenney's Lake Country, and Brat Stop in Kenosha. Please enjoy responsibly.
The dance of sunlight on water.
Shimmering, sparkling, beautiful, hypnotic.
Houses that overlook a gorgeous body of water are the most highly desired houses in the world.
The Bellamare collection of fine jewelry features classic white diamonds, flanked and surrounded by rare and exotic blue diamonds.
Bellamare means beautiful water.
Bellamare, sunlight on water, glimmering and twinkling.
The dance is enticing.
The look is spectacular.
The impact is exciting.
Blue and white diamonds created in the heart of Mother Nature.
Will dance and sing on the body of a glittering, sparkling woman.
Bellamare. This blue and white beauty of sunlight on water
should be worn on the fingers,
the wrist,
the neck, and the ears
of the woman you love.
The Bellamare collection is available only at Kessler's.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Your neighbors are talking. Did you see their siding? Yikes. That drafty window? It's basically air conditioning. From nature. Don't be the scary house on the block this fall. Call Exterior Pros and Baths and get $3,000 off your roofing, siding, windows, or bath project. No tricks, just treats. That's 262-800-4274 or click your way to extpros.com. Fall in love with your home again. Trust the pros.
What's up, Brochachos? Ready for an epic Stranger Things watch party?
Grab a tasty slice of Stranger Things Surfer Boy pizza. It's the tubular frozen pizza that tastes like it came straight from Hawkins to your oven.
Whoa, this pie? Totally righteous.
With 4 bodacious flavors, you're sure to find one that totally rocks. Plus, you can collect the wicked limited edition sticker that comes in each box.
Now that my taste buds are upside down, let's get this watch party started.
Stranger Things Surfer Boy Pizza. Grab your gang and fuel up for one last adventure.
This is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, letting you know that Siding Unlimited installs Pella windows and doors. That's right, Siding Unlimited installs windows, and we do it really well, earning the prestigious Pella Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. New windows, our expert team will deliver on a smooth, hassle-free installation, making you feel proud of calling Siding Unlimited for your window project. What's the next step? Call 262-567-4513 or go to sidingunlimited.com.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Wrapping up another edition of Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Greg and Gary with you. We'll be here again next week following the Packers-Steelers matchup, Sunday Night Football. Lions have a lead over the Buccaneers right now, 14-3. It's a Monday night doubleheader. Another game later tonight. You going to stay up for Seahawks and Texans from the West Coast, Gary?
No, I don't have any. I don't want to see
Seems like a very nondescript late evening Monday night game. This is certainly the marquee of the matchups here.
I got nothing for you on that one.
Okay. Myself either. Bills and Ravens are among the teams on bye. Amazing to me, the Vegas Raiders have one more win this season than do the Baltimore Ravens. That's the team trying to find itself throughout the bye week.
Well, Lamar Jackson's been out.
They're not going to hurt. They weren't great before.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's why they're not doing well. I mean, the NFL is different, and especially in the AFC, NFC. The Eagles have kind of come back to the pack, and now all of a sudden, the Chiefs
are getting hot, right? And getting hot and getting healthy too.
Right.
So this will be a very interesting trade deadline. Keep in mind the trade deadline is November 4th, and trades, for whatever reason, are much more of a thing now in the NFL than they ever have been. Don't be surprised to see multiple moves made. The Packers, maybe they deal a kicker. Who knows, right?
Well, they need a cornerback.
They need a corner in more ways than one. So lots to discuss here as we approach the midway point of the NFL's regular season. We are out of time. We've got Game 7 of the ALCS coming up right after this here on 94.5 ESPN. For Gary Ellerson, I'm Greg Matzek. Thanks to the fine folks here at Potawatomi Sportsbook for hosting us each and every week. Chris Larson for producing the program. If you missed it, check out our podcast page here. You can also follow us along on YouTube. Check us out wherever you go and at your leisure. Baseball next.
Hi, I'm Tony Dungy, and I want to take a moment to recognize the incredible